Watching you, watching me. It's remarkable footage, the Pentagon says, is Osama bin Laden watching himself on television. It's among several videos officials say were seized from inside his compound as part of what they describe as the greatest intelligence find ever. Meanwhile, in Pakistan, it's being alleged that he lived in the country far longer than at first thought. Shortly, we'll hear from our Asia correspondent, John Sparks, in Abbottabad. First, though, let's go to Washington and our correspondent, Sarah Smith. Sarah.
Christian and the CIA have been briefing journalists at the Pentagon today and giving us a few more details about what they found inside bin Laden's compound. They say it proves that this compound was an active command and control centre from where bin Laden stayed in operational and strategic control of al-Qaeda. He wasn't just the figurehead that's been referred to in the past. They got out of that compound what they describe as the biggest haul of intelligence ever. Computers, thumb drives, documents, all kinds of information, and 5 videos of bin Laden himself, and we can show you some of them now. The first one, that's the most intimate one, shows bin Laden watching himself on television. He seems to be watching the Al Jazeera channel, running reports about him, showing old propaganda videos of his and reports about 9/11, and he seems to be fascinated by his own publicity. You can see the room's not exactly luxurious. He obviously has satellite TV, but there's not much else in there. And the CIA want this scene to prove to any doubters that bin Laden really was living inside the compound in which he was killed, because they say the dresser you can see the television sat on is the same piece of furniture that they found when they went into the compound. The rest of the videos are a bit different. The next one shows him making one of those traditional propaganda statements that we've seen before. There's no audio on this. You can't hear the words because the Pentagon say it would be inappropriate for them to spread the words of a terrorist. I'm sure lip readers will be able to work it out, though. What they are pointing out in this video is his black beard that's clearly been dyed. They say his beard was completely grey when he was killed, and we saw that in the previous video. And they're making this point to try and prove to the world that bin Laden was a vain narcissist who cared about what he looked like, to try and undermine his image with any bin Laden supporters. If we look at one of the other videos, it's very interesting. It's meant to be another one of these propaganda statements, but as you can see when you look at it, he actually messes this up a bit. He misses his cue and ends up having to look off camera to the people who are directing him, so he's not really the practice performer that we might have believed when you just see the final polished, edited videos. And if you look at the last one, you can see as well that it's not really the most sophisticated scene. There's a really badly wrinkled sheet behind him in this. It's obviously been rigged up in a great hurry to try and disguise the location where he is, and the CIA aren't sure exactly where he is or when this was recorded, but they're putting these out to try and make his operation look a little bit less smooth and seamless than it did in the past. Now, these videos are not the most important intelligence that the CIA got out of that bin Laden compound. That's contained on the computers and the thumb drives that they took out of there, and that's being analysed, decoded and translated at the moment. And they're going through that, trying to find all sorts of valuable information about how al-Qaeda worked. But these videos, they really do give us a fascinating glimpse into what life was like inside that bin Laden compound where he was living for so many years before they found him there.